All right, I want to look at this really basic concept, right? It's something that can be used in every area, and it's really boiled down to one thing, which is isolation and then replacement of controls, okay? So when we're looking at these two items together, really, what it does is it helps you to transition smoothly to different points of attack while opening submissions. And that's important, because if you're just moving to different positions without opening up submissions, then there's no point for you really to move there, because inevitably they're going to be defended and you give the other person the potential to escape. They're going to want to escape anyway, so why give them an extra sort of boost to get themselves out? You know, there's no reason for you to do that unless you want to just study the escapes themselves, which of course is fine, but you wouldn't do that necessarily in a tournament setting unless you're that bored with who you're competing against and you have nothing to lose really, which is fine. You know, it depends on what tournament, but I don't think you're going to do that in the World Championships. Anyway, so when you're looking at these items, right, we want to look at how to control them. So that's the first part. Can you go to the throw position for a second, Gil? All right. So here's just everybody kind of is familiar with this position. If you don't know what it is, this is just the turtle position. And what it does is it protects the neck primarily, but it also protects the back control from happening, right? These are really fun positions and they're very tricky. But what I want to do is, again, as a point of interest, I want to get into the rear delt. Okay, so anytime the elbow or the knee is separated from the back, I can get into the back of the hip or the rear delt. These are the points of interest I'm looking at the moment. But really, it's going to be this one, okay? So I'm not doing a technique, remember, like in terms of a physical technique. These are conceptual techniques. And physical techniques take place in a process. They're in an order. And they usually are distilled from tournaments and they're then worked on in the lab. Or you have a conceptual technique, which you look at a point of interest and then you apply them everywhere, right? So this is one of those. These are concepts. So again, bear with me, because I'm not going to be doing a technique in terms of step-by-step, put your foot here, put your hand here. We're just looking at a point of interest. So my first thing I need to do is split this position. It doesn't matter how I do it, okay, but we're just going to look at it for a second. So if I'm here, I want to get my whole body here, right? But as I do that, I need to be able to control, again, the back of the shoulder, right? And I need to be able to isolate a limb, and I need to be able to replace the controls on that limb until I can progress to a new position while opening a submission. All right, so here's an option for you to do that, okay? I want to get inside the arm. I'm going to roll this wrist back, okay? And again, this is not the technique in terms of physical controls. I'm rolling the wrist back, and I want to replace this limb with another limb so then I can have my hand free again, because right now it's occupied. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this knee into that pocket there. I can't put this knee in there, okay? Because what I have to do then is I have to get in, take my arm out, and then put the knee in, which means the space is going to close again. So remember, this is about replacement and isolation. So I'm going to use this knee as I pull the wrist, right? I'm going to pop my knee in, there's a replacement, and I pull my hand out, okay? Now my hand is free. That means I can work over, I can start to work the choke, but the choke is not really there at the moment, okay? What I'm still working on, again, is isolation, back of the shoulder, and replacement, okay? So if you look at my position, if I were to take the back control would have to be here. So that means I've got to change again, okay? So now that I have my hand, right, I have two hands and I have one limb free. Control the position, I'm gonna put, look, weight into the back of the limb, it drops the position, so that way I can switch my knees now. And I replace them. I don't do this, look, I'm not doing this. It's not a knee ride drill. Look, it's a replacement drill. Control, switch, and then replace. Now if you look, I'm facing the back control, okay? So now when I'm here, look, again, two hands, and this limb is free. That means this can become a hook. But I can't put my hook here, because it compromises a limb. So what I need to do is now I can attack the neck. Just turn a little bit. And when I attack the neck, if you look at the position, as I drop my body again over the shoulder, watch what happens. The space opens up, I can reach my hands inside, and as I come back, look, his hand, can you open? His hand is trapped underneath his body. Just sit up. Can you see it? So my knee is now wedged in there so he can't get his hand out, right? That means that I can get into his neck more easily. And also from here now, as I start to make my controls, his main concern is getting this arm out, blocking the hook and the neck,
which means the danger is really threefold. It's going to be very hard to split your focus like that and keep your attention on the right item at the right time to defend. So this gives me access now to the hook. And as I'm defending the neck, I can start to get my other hook in. We'll do a technical video on this, on how to do the progression physically, but the main idea has been all along isolating the rear delt and replacing the controls.